Now, the decline stage occurs when really sales force businesses to make a decision. So we notice here that sales are continuing to decline. We notice that profitability is continuing to decline. And that really forces the business to make a couple of decisions. It can decide to what we call maintain and improve the product, which generally involves continuing to support it, but finding out a couple of things, either if there's a new use for the product, or if they can add additional features or technology to it to continue to make it relevant. And so if you look at washers and dryers, which have been around for decades, those products are continuing to get improved by utilizing technology for the purpose of making it better and adding new feature sets. If you look at laptop computers and desktop computers, which are largely in decline, or in declining areas, you look at the additional features that are being added to those to be able to distinguish them. So Apple just recently announced, at least at the recording of this video, a new MacBook Pro that has an actual kind of touch screen on the actual keyboard itself that provides different functionality. That would be a great example of providing a new technology and trying to revitalize an existing product. The other thing that you can do besides revitalizing existing products is figuring out a new use for them. And so if you look at a product like baking soda, which has been around pretty much forever almost, it seems like it, that product has been changing in terms of its use. And so the original idea was that it was used as something to help clean your teeth. And then when people realized that people develop toothpaste and they develop that kind of chemical that helps give that real tingling sensation, even in reality, it does absolutely nothing, but it makes you feel like your teeth are clean. People went away from baking soda. And so then it became a product to cook with. And then eventually when other products to cook with came out, then it became a product that you put in your fridge and you would kind of eliminate unwanted odors in your refrigerator. And so changing products either by technology or developing a completely different use is one thing that businesses can do to try to lessen the extent to which they go through this decline. And products can stay in the decline stage for decades as long as they're being reinvigorated in some way, shape, or form. Now, the other element here is instead of maintaining a particular product, we could do what we call harvest the product. And harvesting involves actually reducing the costs associated with the product. And our goal here is to try to maximize profitability. And so really we're trying to create what we call a cash cow, something that continues to sell and generate revenue without us really supporting it all that much. And so in order to do that, though, we've got to be able to reduce production costs. We reduce advertising expenditures with the exception of to a core group of customers that are likely to respond. And we try to lengthen out that profitability for as long as we possibly can. And because the product has been around for some time, the advertising expenditures don't need to be there to that same level since there already is awareness in the market. Now, the last thing that we can do here is we can eventually discontinue the actual product, which means we're going to cease all support. We're going to liquidate our existing inventory, and we're really going to focus our energies on other products here. So we reduce advertising expenditures. We consolidate distribution to a few channels. We might actually increase prices, which sounds counterintuitive, but especially at this harvesting stage, we want to try to maximize profitability. And again, one of the characteristics here is that you see very much fewer competitors. And that's because there's really not a great deal of money to be made in this area. But because there are competitors leaving, some companies still find a way to carve out somewhat of a niche to at least ensure some level of revenue and profits over a period of time. Now, I'm sure you can think of other product categories that are in the decline stage, everything from standalone GPS units, and that's largely because of technology, right? Your smartphone does that and more. So why would you need a separate device? So you see companies like Garmin who are now getting into wearable technology because they need a different product, right, to continue through this product life cycle. VCRs are largely replaced. I don't even own one anymore, and chances are you don't either. Maybe you have some VHS tapes, but you might not have the VCR to play them. So in terms of how businesses utilize this, one, it's helpful to understand how products go through a series of stages, maybe not identical to this. And you might have products that jump right from the intro stage and go all the way to decline relatively quickly. Things like fashion fads that are fashionable one week and then you never see them ever again, and everybody burns all their photos when they were wearing something similar to that. So don't think that you have to go through these stages in a linear fashion. You don't necessarily have to, and you can certainly go through them at a different rate and different speed, which is important. Now, the implications for business beyond adapting our marketing mix to how our product is going through the product life cycle, we also want to ensure that we've got a steady stream of products going through this product life cycle. And what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have all your products, for example, in this decline phase here, because you've got nothing to ensure continued revenue over the course of so many years. What you'd like to see is products that are in this pipeline continuing to go through, so that when something eventually gets to the decline phase, you've got something over here in the introductory phase that's going to offset the reduction in revenue that you would receive. So it's really important, particularly for businesses, to continue to put out great products. I'll end with this. If you look at Apple after Steve Jobs passed, there was a lot of uncertainty regarding their product line, and their stock price reflected that, because the concern is at some point the iPhone and the iPad and some of the developments that were done under Jobs' leadership would not be around and would begin to decline as revenue as technology continued to increase. And so the concern was they didn't have enough products coming through the pipeline that would help offset those declines.